I want to start by thanking the 484 constituents in Glasgow East who signed the petition, and indeed to commend the mover of the motion, the Honourable Gentleman from Sutton and Cheam, and what I thought was an excellent speech. And he was very courteous actually in trying to keep his speaking time to allow other members to get in. For a personal point of view as well, Sir Roger, can I say what a pleasure it is to see my honourable friend from Motherwell and Wishaw on the front bench leading for the Scottish National Party this evening. It's a pleasure to see her back in Parliament. I've got to say, as a new Member of Parliament, the first time that a constituent came to me to raise with me cystic fibrosis, I'll be quite honest, and I'm quite ashamed to say that I didn't know a lot about cystic fibrosis. So I was very grateful to Karen Ash, one of my constituents from Mount Vernon, who explained to me the difficulties that her daughter, who's just 14 years old, experiences being admitted to hospital every 8 weeks. And the real challenge that brings, and she really impressed upon me the importance of why we need Orkambi now. Even in the course of since this debate started, another constituent, Naomi Moore, and I think this shows the good thing about us engaging digitally. Naomi Moore just tweeted at me because I'd said I was taking part in the debate. She said, with access to amazing drugs like Orkambi and Kalydeco, I'll be able to use my degree when I graduate. But without it, my future is uncertain and limited. Now, that's a girl in Glasgow who's in her 4th year at university studying geology, and I think that's a very powerful point. And the turnout from members, certainly at the beginning of the debate, I must say I'm quite disappointed that so many people have disappeared now. But I think that really impresses upon us the importance of getting this right.
Will you give way?
I'm more than happy to give way to my honourable friend.
He makes the point about young people and their future, which is a big part of this debate. And Robert Kennedy and Ashley Wilson from Kilmarnock came to speak to me about their 3-year-old daughter, Mirren, who goes for physio twice a day for her cystic fibrosis. But they fear that as she gets older, she may face weeks in hospital at a time. Would you agree with me that Orkambi ought to be there for them so that they can access this treatment as their daughter gets older?
Yes, absolutely, and I'm very grateful to my honourable friend for that intervention. I know she's a passionate champion of our constituents in Glasgow Central, and she's right to put that on the record. Numerous other constituents have come to me, including Lee Benny from Garrow Hill, again making the case that we need to see Orkambi now. But over the course of the weekend, I had the privilege of spending some time talking to a friend of mine's brother, Ross Moore, who is not a constituent of mine, but he does have access to Orkambi. He has access to Orkambi through the Compassionate Access Scheme. Now, Ross is a remarkable young man who is incredibly articulate. I was quite struck yesterday when I spoke to him just how frank he is. And for somebody who has lived with cystic fibrosis for so long, you know, the way in which he could explain why he has had access to Orkambi and why he thinks other people should have access to that, I think I was very moved by. But Ross was only moved on to Orkambi in October last year because his lung function had dropped below 45%. And he was quite honest in saying that the first 6 to 10 weeks on Orkambi was very, very tough. And for some people that can be make or break, but he has got through that. And like my honourable friend from Glasgow Central has mentioned, you know, the ability for people to try and put that effort into physio. I mean, he was saying that it's a very arduous process, and he's doing physio, you know, 2 to 3 hours a day. But one of the things that I was quite struck by when speaking to Ross was this is somebody who has already got access to Orkambi, and he does not want to pull up the ladder behind him. And the thing that he said to me about coming into this chamber this evening was go in there and explain the benefits of Orkambi, but we need to make sure that people understand that for those who don't have access to it already, they've got to have that access, because it's only through that research and that ability to use it that they'll have that. More than happy to give way.
Thank you, Sir Roger, and I thank the honourable gentleman for giving way. Does this mean that your constituent will have Orkambi for life, or will it be taken off him later?
Yes, I'm very grateful to the honourable gentleman for that intervention, because whilst I was having that conversation with him, that was the thing at the back of my mind. I'm very glad that he actually answered that before I managed to ask it, because that's a very difficult question to ask somebody is, will you have access to this for the rest of your life? But thankfully, in Ross's case, he will indeed have that. I think my honourable friend from North Ayrshire and Arran has outlined very eloquently the situation in Scotland, and for the purposes of time I don't want to do that. But the final person that I want to talk about, and it was actually just a phone call when I left Glasgow Airport this afternoon, was from my constituent Helen Seary, who lives in Carmyle. Her son Leighton was born just 22 months ago and has cystic fibrosis. During the course of the 20-week scan, it showed that he would have cystic fibrosis. He was born premature at just 28 weeks. His lungs naturally are weaker as a result of being a premature baby. And my colleague, my constituent, Helen made the point that in Ireland, when people are having access to Orkambi at 5 and 6 years old, what a difference that will make. Now, I'm going to visit Leighton and Carmyle next week, and I think that there's a real risk of that, and I'm very aware of that for Helen to bring somebody into the house and the challenges that would open up to Leighton. But as I go back to Glasgow, and I think it's important that in the safety of this house, we can stand up and we can make speeches, and we'll send the Hansards to our constituent afterwards. But for me, the most important thing is going back to Helen and telling her in Leighton that I stood up today and said that I think Orkambi should be available in Carmyle as well as it is in Carlisle. And I think that is the message that we have got to leave with the Minister today, because constituents are absolutely clear that we need Orkambi now.